Today's topic, public Wi-Fi. Some time ago, people were really cautious about using public Wi-Fi for sensitive information. The fear was that since it's free, anyone can see what you're doing, so checking your bank statements was very much frowned upon while in public. Is there any merit to that argument? Let's discuss. Let's consider the situation where someone is trying to reach an unsecure website over a wired connection. The internet, usually represented by a cloud, it has hundreds of routers and miles of fiber optic cable crisscrossing the country, connecting everyone to everyone else. If we were to connect to some random site using HTTP, the internet would find us the best path, and then we'd start communicating with us sending page requests and with them showing us what we want to see. None of the communication between us and them is encrypted, so if some random bad actor wanted to find a way to tap into the internet and see what we're doing, they'd be able to see everything in plain text. This would be especially bad if we sent over credit card or other sensitive information. Let's start over. Instead of an unsecure random site, let's say that they're using secure protocols and we connect using HTTPS. Once we connect, everything we send over is encrypted and everything they send back is also encrypted. If some bad actor wanted to see what we're sending each other, all they'd see is a bunch of random gibberish. Everything that we're actually sending to each other is hidden behind an encryption scheme, and no one is able to crack that. This model applies to everyone on a wired connection, so if you're at Starbucks, Walmart, or McDonald's, all transmission from there to some random site is encrypted, as long as that random site requires HTTPS. There's no difference between retail stores having internet and you having it at home. The rules of transmission still apply. That's good for wired internet connections, but what about Wi-Fi? A lot of people think that Wi-Fi is unsecure and anyone can see what you're doing. Is there any truth to that? The answer is sort of. Anything broadcast over the air, like your favorite radio stations, can be picked up by anyone with the right listening equipment. If you're using Wi-Fi without any kind of encryption, then your data might be compromised. Now remember that if you're visiting a secure website using HTTPS, then your data is encrypted end to end. The wireless part of your connection is still broadcasted unencrypted, and anyone can still see that something is being sent or received, but they wouldn't be able to understand it because of the HTTPS encryption. So, is it okay to use public Wi-Fi? The answer is yes, as long as you're visiting a secure website. If you look at your home Wi-Fi, you probably have a password set on it so that no one can use your Wi-Fi without knowing that password. If you run into any public Wi-Fi hotspots that require some kind of a login, then that's basically the same as your home wireless network. Behind the scenes, if you have to use a password to connect to a Wi-Fi network, then that password triggers some encryption for the broadcast. If you've seen WPA, WPA2, or WPA3 in your Wi-Fi settings, then that's what this is all about. This is where it gets fun. If you're using encrypted Wi-Fi and you're visiting a secure website, the data from end to end is encrypted through HTTPS, and the broadcast segment is encrypted as well. So for the broadcast segment, you're encrypting an encrypted message. Try cracking through that. The only catch to this is that this model works if you're using a browser. If you're on Safari, Edge, Chrome, or any other browser on your laptop or mobile device, it's easy to tell if you're visiting a secure website. But if you're using an app like a game or an email app, this idea might or might not work. You'll have to do some research into the app to see if it provides end-to-end encryption or encryption in transit, since there's no obvious way to tell like there is with HTTPS. It's a fair assumption that financial apps will have some kind of encryption in transit, but what about gaming or news apps? You'll have to look those up to be sure. If you plan on using public Wi-Fi, try keeping these points in mind. For one, be sure that you're connecting to a legitimate access point. Sometimes bad actors will set up a lookalike access point hoping that you won't notice. The bad actor is in charge of that access point and can thus see everything you're doing, encrypted or not. So limit your exposure by connecting to known networks only. Some mobile devices have a setting that allows you to connect to anything that's available. Turn that off so that you don't accidentally connect to a bad access point. Finally, consider using a VPN. That not only adds a layer of encryption for your data, but it also hides what sites you're visiting. Anyone intercepting traffic going to a VPN will only see that you're visiting that site and not your actual destination, whether that be Netflix or Facebook.